look, if you are going to be somebody that's an elected official or involved in our election process at all, you should not be part of a PAC that is determining one way or another which way, whether a ballot measure or a certain election should be going. So this really just brings trust back to our election process, and it states very simply that, look, if you are involved, you cannot be part of a PAC that might push an election one way or another. And so it's very straightforward. I'm sure there are situations everywhere. I think one of the biggest ones was what we saw in this last election with the Maricopa County recorder, who obviously was in charge of a PAC, or supposedly in charge of a PAC. You know, whether the data shows that's true or not, we never want that to happen, and I think we all can agree that shouldn't be happening. Let's bring trust back to the voters and just remove this from an issue that might happen in the future on either side of the aisle. And let's just make sure that our elections are as free and fair as possible without any kind of ideas or conspiracies or thoughts or whatever it may be. Let's just stop that from happening in the first place.
Regardless of how people feel about our elections, the personal attacks on our elections officials disgust me, and I hope that through legislation like this, we can prevent the misdirected targeting of our elections officials. If I raised $1 million and spent that $1 million to prevent a candidate from getting elected, and then we're in a position of power to potentially help a candidate get or not get elected, why would I want to risk my $1 million investment? Allowing our elections officials who have closed-door access to our most sacred right, our vote, to run PACs only serves to help incumbent members of the state and political apparatus.
This is a great bill. I'm glad to see members across the aisle are in favor of an idea like this. I think we're moving in a great direction for bringing confidence back to our elections. I've also served on a legislative district committee board, and it is very important to be impartial and to keep a level playing field. And this bill explicitly makes sure that there's a level playing field in our elections in Arizona. And with that, I proudly vote aye.
I'm going to vote yes.
This is an important conversation about the transparency and trust in our elections. I'm going to vote aye.
I'm not opposed to this bill. I'm going to be voting in favor of it.
I like this bill a lot.
I'm very pleased to see the bipartisan support on this bill. I do think it's definitely time in the volatile environment that we find ourselves in to give an extra standard to those who are counting the votes. That needs to be our ultimate priority in order to preserve the maximum amount of transparency and start to rebuild confidence in our elections. And with that, I vote aye. With your vote of 10 ayes, 0 nays, none absent, you have given HB 2378 as amended a do pass recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members.